Hello class, Professor Candido here, and we are going to continue learning with Python functions and specifically modules. A quick review, a function is a piece of code that another piece of code can call to do an operation or do some task. You start it with a def, you give it a name, you have parens and a colon, and within the parens you put any incoming parameters you wish to receive. In this case, we have a definition of a function called minNumber. It takes one number, comma, a second number. The colon indicates the end of the function declaration, and we do some code and we return. Two numbers come in, and we return the smallest of the two. I ask you to identify how many functions you see within this piece of code. I'm going to scroll down so you can see. If you said 4, you're correct. One called minNumber, that takes two numbers, and presumably it will find out the smallest of the two. One called max, that will take two numbers, and presumably will give you the largest. Average numbers takes two numbers in, averages it, and returns it. And I just found a little bug here I'm going to fix real quick. And then we have sum numbers. We have average numbers, sum numbers, takes two numbers, add two, and we return it. Notice what is missing is the main. What we're going to do is create functions and put them into a package for reuse. This particular program will never run on its own. Another piece of code will use the functions we have bundled in here. And they will use an import to import our code. So it's important you understand a module is when you put functions or variables within a piece of code that will not run by itself, but another program will use it. This promotes sharing. So I'm going to save this source code because I made a change, and make note of the name. It is chapter 5 module. We need what we call another piece of code, which is a helper code, and I want you to take a look at that real quick. This one's called use module, chapter 5 module. Use chapter 5 module. So if you look here, I import chapter 5 module, which is this piece of code. I want all this code to be copied in and accessible and used by, oh, we got to click on the wrong one, by this. So the first thing I need to do is import the name of the module, which is this code. And see right here, I ask for two integers. Then I call chapter 5 module dot min number, and I pass in number 1. Let me make this bigger so everyone can see it. Number 1 and number 2. Then I call chapter 5 module dot max number, and I pass in the 2. Chapter 5 module dot average number. Chapter 5 module dot sum numbers. So I'm going to this module and I'm calling these four functions, passing in four integers. So when I get the numbers, for example, say I do 5 and 10, I call chapter 5 dot min number. I pass over to here the 5 and the 10, and it will determine which is smaller and return the smallest. The smallest comes out, and I put that return value from this code into the print. So now I do two floats. This is integers, and these are float, and I can still use the same chapter 5 module.min, and notice it will automatically make these a float when I call with floats, and make these ints when I call one an int. Or if I call this one an int and this in a float, it would mix the two together. So I hope you're seeing that we can write code that could be shared. I could actually have one member of my team write this code and another member of my team write this code, and I can get the program done twice as fast, and these functions over here in the chapter 5 module will be used by many other programs. Let's try running it. So I'm going to enter 5 and 10. And there comes out finds the biggest and smallest. Oh, it looks like I have a problem with my biggest logic. Let's go see if we can fix that. And then it does the average and sum. And we're going to enter in some floats. And there you go. There comes our answer. And notice it goes 999. And we'll learn later about formatting how to fix that. Let's go find out what's wrong with the biggest number code. Let's go back over to the module. And let's see what we're doing here. I found the problem. I had a misspelling right here. So I could have not shown I had an error, but hey, I'm human and I make mistakes too. And this is a good lesson to see why we have to be careful when writing code. So I have a variable called nBiggest, and we put 1 into it. Then we compare to see if 2 is bigger than 1. If it is, we're putting 2 into this variable when we actually should have spelt it this way. Now I think our code is safe. But I also want to show that if I make a change to the module, I got to save it so when it's imported by this other code that it will run correctly. Let's see if I fixed it. Let's do 5 plus 7, and we'll do 2.0 plus 3.0. And let's see if the code is working. And it looks like I fixed it, and I'm glad I recovered my error. So again, modules are pieces of code, mostly functions that you can put into a file, and you can import it and promote reuse. It's better than copying all this code and putting it into here so we can share it. The other trick to getting this to work is both the module and the code that uses the module have to be in the same directory. Go forth and enjoy modules.